Again, YouTubers, gotta get some more running videos quickly. Actually, someone had a cool day today, but slept in because it's Sunday. One day I get to sleep in. But I had some people ask me some questions for my past videos. If I compare Flysky to Spektrum, failsafes and Nitros, which back when Nitros used 27 megahertz, they always ran a failsafe usually. Basically what a failsafe does with a Nitro, doesn't shut the motor off. On planes it does. Because with the plane, you really don't have an idle set like you do on a idle set screw like you do on a on-road car. The servo holds the idle. You have to use good digital servos. But basically what will happen with a Nitro if the failsafe kicks in, usually something happens with the radio and it will just stop communicating with the radio. I've had this happen to me once, and the failsafe was actually programmed for a different car, so it actually ended up giving full throttle instead of full brake. But that's all they do, is they give full brake. That's all a Nitro failsafe does. It applies 100% brake just in case something with the radio happens, it goes out of range, something like that, so you don't have to worry about maybe giving 100% throttle, going for a speed run, and then, oh crap, I'm out of radio range, and the throttle's stuck wide open. It'll just give you 100% brake and stop it. Fifth scales, you can add that, but with those you really want an actual kill switch. I have one. It's not around here at the moment. It's in a separate box out there. But the main thing I'm going into right now is comparison between Flysky and Spektrum. Overall, the better radio is going to be Spektrum. You can't say any Spektrum, Futaba, Airtronics, Hisense has some. No, not Hisense. Grockner. Wow, there's a lot. There's quite a few of them. But the companies that have been around for a long time, proven themselves, you're not really going to get better than that. But to anyone who has more than one vehicle and you have multiple transmitters, I highly suggest you at least get one of these. They're not allowed to race tracks. Some allow them, some don't. The problem with these is, if I was to turn two vehicles on that are bound to this, if I was to steer, both vehicles would steer. It doesn't lock on to just one receiver like Spektrum does. So say I was to turn my DBXL on, which is behind the camera, and my Baja or my 5SC on, whichever model I have selected, that's the only receiver that it's going to bind to at that moment. In order to control my Baja or my 5SC, I would actually have to select it in the model selection. But yeah, this, if you have 10 vehicles or less, this is $45. This is the titanium version. There's an orange version, a lime version. I'm actually giving this one to my friend. He got screwed out of one, so I'm going to help him out and give this to him. It's got a model name, reverse, steering reverses, endpoints, adjustments, trim, dual rates, exponential, and ABS, auto brake system. Which, yeah. But getting back to the IT4S and the Spektrum DX4S. Overall, the better radio, I would say, is has to be the Spektrum. Just a lot more features, built better in my opinion. I've heard some bad things. It's just this one feels better. It feels beefier. It's overall a better radio. The one, I will say, ease of use comes down to the Flysky, and the reason for that is when you go to your menu, say you go to steering reverse or something you don't know, under every one, throttle curve, say you don't know what that is, up in the right hand corner is a little question mark. it will tell you exactly what that does and how to set it to a point. It basically defines what it is and what this system can do. But when it comes to features, this has all the features this does. I mean, this one has steering reverse, endpoint, sub trim. This has all that. Steering exponential. This has that. Steering speed, steering mix. This has that. Throttle neutral. I don't think this has that, but you really don't have to worry about that with this. It's just that good of a radio. Throttle exponential, got that. It doesn't have ABS, I don't believe. Oh yeah, it does. Yeah. This has AVC though, advanced active vehicle control, throttle speed, throttle mode, throttle idle up. This doesn't have that. Engine cut, this has that. Boat mode, this one doesn't have that. Brake mixing, I'm not sure if this has this, but you have mixing. I mean, you have mixing, it's just, yeah, you have throttle mix, steering mix, mix A, mix B. You can do whatever mix you want. Race timer, this has a timer built into it. But just overall, this has a color screen. For a beginner, I would say go with this. And stick with the IA4B receivers. Basically with that, it does the same thing Spektrum does. If you turn on two different vehicles that are bound to it, it'll only control the vehicle that you have selected on the transmitter. But if you're actually getting serious into racing and stuff like that, look into Spektrum, Futaba, Airtronics, stuff like that. I just grabbed this when it was on sale. So, I mean, the GT3C was my very first digital radio where I could use more than one vehicle with one radio. You can do it with Traxxas, but you have to get the Bluetooth module, and then you have to link it to a phone. Then you have to carry the phone around. I just don't like all that. Spektrum, you can also get telemetry to work with, but they're sort of getting rid of that in Europe because of the frequency that it operates in. It's analog, not digital, and everything nowadays is going to digital. So analog would be, say 27, be in the megahertz range instead of the gigahertz, I think. I really don't understand all that. I haven't researched it, mainly because I really haven't had a need to. But now that I'm getting more into having telemetry on my vehicles, I mean, I'm not going to have it on all my vehicles because honestly, I don't need it. It's just going to weigh things down, extra wires, just a pain in the butt. But, yeah, just between the two, I would say beginner, start with the Flysky. They're great, they're cheap, has a metal wheel. This the IT4S, $142. You could probably find it like $117 on eBay. Comes with telemetry, 4 channels, all those features, 21 different features that you can set up, 7 different buttons. Let me look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those buttons are proportional buttons, where instead of it being just being an on-off switch, it's a two-way switch. Two-way throw switch. So instead of just doing one thing, you can go backwards and forwards instead of just one direction. But then with the Spektrum, you have this wheel right here that you can program. You have these 4 switches around it. You have this switch down by your finger, which is it's not just a button, it's also a two-way switch and a button directly in. So that's sort of a 3-way switch. And then you have the button back here that could be for a kill switch. Nitro, if you have reverse, that could be a button to go into reverse. You just set it up as a set this switch up as a 2-way switch, and it'll just make the servo go into reverse or into forward. Revo, Trax, Nitro Revo, T-Max, Savage, if you get the kit for it. Mine actually came with it when I bought my Savage. I don't have it anymore. I traded it for the 5T down here, which still needs some work. I haven't got around to it. It has my Fortec and my Kyosho Mad Force on top of it. I'm starting to have to stack cars, and what I'm going to do is actually start making basically sort of like those things that you see in garages where you can park one car in and then raise it up and then put another car in, but it's not going to be raised up. It's basically going to be a shelf. So cars aren't actually sitting on top of each other. My Raider and my Fury's right there. My T-Max is there. Yeah, they're all in front of me right now, and to the left of the phone, and to the bottom of the phone, and behind the phone way back there in my bedroom. So, yeah, that's basically it when it comes to radios. I've only been in this hobby for, in the surface category, in 9 days. I'll have been in it for 2 years. But I've been in the hobby altogether for a little over 4 years. So I understand everything a little more than others may. I have a lot of people on Facebook come to me for questions. I just bought a case and a head. Basically a complete 3.3 except for a connecting rod, piston, and sleeve. I have all those parts. That's going in my Fortec. I was offered a RV 3.7, but I'm pretty sure that would break the belts. So yeah, I didn't go for that. So that's pretty much it when it comes to radios. I'm just going to put it this way. You're going to get what you pay for. And also, a lot of times, you're going to pay for a name. You're going to pay for the reliability. It's a name that's been around like Grosvenor or Airtronic or something that has been around for quite a while. You're going to pay more for that because that's a proven name. Flysky hasn't been around as long, so the name isn't as proven. But that also allows people to get a very decent receiver, or a very decent transmitter with a lot of stuff in the receiver, telemetry and all that stuff, and 4 channels for max $150, which is not that bad. This was $250, but I got it for $200 when it was on sale. So yeah, that's it regarding radios. So thanks for watching. Peace.